A stranger at the grocery store demanded I pay for his cart because you look rich and I'm struggling. When I refused, he threw a fit in the aisle and shouted, "People like you have no heart." The cashier looked nervous as I pulled out my phone and said, "Then let's see what security has to say about that." It was a typical Saturday afternoon, and I was doing my weekly grocery shopping at the local HB in Austin, Texas. As I navigated the aisles, filling my cart with essentials, I noticed a man in his late 30s or early 40s watching me. He was dressed in worn-out clothes and had a disheveled appearance. I didn't think much of it until I reached the checkout line. As I began unloading my groceries onto the conveyor belt, the man approached me and said, "You look rich, and I'm struggling. You should pay for my groceries." I was taken aback. "Excuse me," I replied. He raised his voice, drawing the attention of other shoppers and the cashier. "People like you have no heart," he shouted. The cashier looked nervous, unsure of how to handle the situation. I calmly pulled out my phone and said, "Then let's see what security has to say about that." Security arrived promptly, and the man was escorted out of the store. I completed my purchase, and the cashier apologized for the incident. I assured her it wasn't her fault and left the store, shaken but determined not to let the encounter ruin my day. After I got home that day, I told my husband about what happened. He was just as shocked. We sat at the kitchen table, sipping coffee, going over every detail. I kept thinking about the man's eyes, how angry and focused they were, not desperate like I first thought, but calculated. Something about it stuck with me. 3 days later, I came out of work to find a note under my windshield wiper. I park in the employee lot, so this wasn't normal. The note said, "People like you always get what they want." But not this time. No name. Just that. I looked around, but the parking lot was mostly empty. I didn't know if it was a prank or connected to the man from the grocery store. I reported it to my manager and filed a police report. They didn't do much, just told me to be careful and report anything else. A week passed. I was on edge the whole time. I changed my route to work, checked over my shoulder constantly, even had my husband drive me some days. Then one evening, while we were eating dinner, my phone buzzed with a notification from the Ring doorbell. I opened it to see a man, same guy from the store, standing on our porch. He wasn't doing anything, just staring into the camera. Then he walked away. We called the cops again. This time, they took it seriously. They sent someone to patrol the neighborhood for a couple nights. But they couldn't find him. I started thinking maybe I should have just paid for his groceries. Maybe then none of this would have happened. But that's not right either, is it? I wasn't rude. I was just not going to be bullied. 2 days later, my husband's car was keyed in the driveway. Deep scratches, front to back. We checked the camera footage again. Same guy. Still no solid ID. That night, we stayed up late talking. I told him I didn't feel safe. He agreed. We decided to stay with my sister on the other side of town for a few days. Her house has a gated driveway, security cameras, the works. It felt safer. For a while, things were quiet again. Until my work got a call. Someone pretending to be me said I was quitting effective immediately. They used my name, my birthday, even the last 4 digits of my social. HR called me confused. That's when I knew. This wasn't just some angry guy. He was digging. He wanted to ruin my life, piece by piece. We filed another police report. This time, the officer suggested a restraining order, but we didn't even have his name. He was just that man from the grocery store. No ID. No license plate. Nothing. The next twist came from the most unexpected place, my bank. One morning, I checked my account like I always do. There were 3 pending charges I didn't recognize. One was for a cheap motel across town, another was at a gas station I'd never been to, and the third was an online purchase for a burner phone. I froze. I called the bank right away, flagged the charges, locked my cards. Then I called my husband and told him to do the same. Someone had my information. Somehow this man, who I'd only seen once, who I barely even spoke to, had gotten deep into my life. We sat down that night and went over every possible way he could have accessed our info. We didn't click strange links, didn't give out anything over the phone. But then it hit me, my wallet. A few days before all of this started, I was at the same grocery store and had left my purse in the cart for maybe 2 minutes when loading groceries into my trunk. It was never stolen. Nothing seemed missing. But maybe he took a picture of something. A card, my license, something that gave him a foot in the door. I felt sick. We went full lockdown. Froze credit reports. Changed all our passwords. I even got a burner phone of my own just in case. I didn't want to use my main number for anything. I felt like prey, like he was 10 steps ahead of me somehow, and I couldn't catch up. Then a coworker texted me a screenshot from a local Facebook group. Someone posted a photo of me, taken from the side, at the gas station, filling my tank. The caption? "Look who's back in town like she owns it. Rich people never learn." It had a dozen comments. Some laughing, some agreeing. One saying, "She's the one from the store story, right? I don't even have Facebook." That night, I stayed up staring at the ceiling. I couldn't sleep. My heart wouldn't slow down. I thought about what kind of person goes this far over a grocery store confrontation. I thought about how this man was weaponizing strangers online without them even knowing the full story. The next day, I went to the store again, not because I needed groceries, but because I needed to see something. I walked the same aisles, heart pounding the whole time, looking over my shoulder. I was about to leave when a voice behind me said, "Didn't expect to see you here again." It was him. My whole body went cold. He stood a few feet away, arms crossed, like he was just there to browse. I didn't say anything. I turned, walked straight to customer service, and told them to call the police. He didn't follow me. Just stood there watching like it was some game. The cops showed up. I gave them the full timeline. Showed the Facebook post, the bank alerts, the ring footage, everything. But he'd already left the store. Again. No name, no contact. But this time I was ready to fight back. I'd been collecting every shred of evidence. Every screenshot. Every video. I wasn't just scared now, I was furious. He wanted to make me feel powerless. So I decided to show him I wasn't. I didn't go to work the next day. Instead, I went to the police station with a folder full of everything I had: photos, printed posts, timelines, copies of the bank charges, even a USB with the ring videos. I sat down with a detective who finally took it seriously. He looked through it all and said, "Okay, we'll run facial recognition and check local shelters. We'll find him." A week passed. Then one morning, I got a call. They found him. His name was Marcus Dean. He had a long record, mostly petty theft, some harassment, and one restraining order filed 5 years back in a different city. He'd been bouncing around Austin, staying at motels, using stolen info to open accounts, and using fake names to stay off the radar. One of the stolen identities? Mine. The cops arrested him at a bus station, trying to leave town. He had my old credit card on him and a notebook full of names, addresses, and scribbled notes. There was a page on me. It had my schedule, my husband's car model, and creepy things like she parks in the back and sometimes leaves purse in cart. They charged him with stalking, identity theft, and harassment. There was no trial. He took a plea deal and got 4 years in prison. You'd think that would be the end. But here's the part one haven't told anyone, not even my husband. About a week before all of this started, I did see him in the parking lot that day. It was raining lightly. He was asking people for money near the carts. I had just loaded my groceries and saw him approach a woman with 2 kids. She looked scared. He got too close. I remember thinking, someone should call security. But I didn't. I was tired, annoyed, and in a rush. I just got in my car and drove off. The next time I saw him? That moment in the store when he demanded I pay. Maybe he remembered me ignoring him. Maybe I embarrassed him in front of others. Or maybe he was already broken and I was just the one who triggered something. It doesn't excuse what he did. Not even close. He turned into a stalker. He tried to ruin my life. But I still think about that first day. Maybe if I'd said something, maybe if security had stepped in then, none of this would have spiraled. It's messed up. All of it. He's in prison now. But the truth is, I still check the locks twice every night. I still watch shadows out the window longer than I should. My life got darker because of one encounter. One moment where someone wanted to be seen and wasn't. And now? Now I see everything. Too clearly.